Good afternoon and welcome back to Reimagine Learning with MDIS. Now, of course, if you're someone who is interested in what essential skills are required in the new normal, we have the School of Engineering and Technology to bring you through what goes on now in this new normal.
Hi, good afternoon, and thank you for taking time to be with us this Saturday afternoon. My name is Dr. Tam. I'm the head of School of Engineering and Technologies. So today I'm going to talk about the new normal skills, essential skills that we need, and that's essential, really essential for us to be competitive in this current market. So I think everybody is familiar with these, the pictures. So this is the vibrant Singapore that we have now. So behind this is the smart city of Singapore. So Singapore has been voted as a top smart city in the world for 2 consecutive years, 2019 and 2020, according to the US news agencies. So what is it behind the smart city? And how do we achieve to become a smart city? Right, this is how a smart city looks like, where all the essential services and all our daily life are all interconnected. For example, the smart government, smart education, smart healthcare, smart buildings, your mobilities, smart infrastructures, and other smart technologies. All these things are interconnected, and then we can get and build our life better and become our whole life will become better and will become easier for us to live in the city of Singapore. So as everybody knows, we are moving towards the 5G technologies in our mobile services or 5G connections. This is the enabler of the new coming technologies. For example, when we make call, your friends will be there in front of you with the 3D hologram. So with this 5G, this will enable us to talk with our friends in real life and in real person. Other than connecting with our friends, the way we work, the way we collaborate with other people will be changed as well. As you can see, we use augmented reality where there will be real life projects in front of you to design, and you can also change whatever that you need to make the project successful. So moving forward, our educations. Let's go back to about 5 years ago, how our educations look like. But with these new technologies of augmented realities, so the way we learn is really transformed how we learn. So students can have real-life images of the organs of the human beings as they learn around. So they will change the whole spheres of our learning. So moving forward to the next one is our life. So we will have these robotics kitchens in us, right? So if you're not a good cook, it doesn't matter. But with this advancement of technologies, you just need to key in what are the food, what are the dishes that you need for your dinner. Then the robot will be there to prepare for you. Then what about traveling? Each of us are travel around the world, especially during this time. Unfortunately, we can't travel. But just imagine, when we travel around, we need to bring a lot of luggages with us. But with technology and the invention of the new smart luggages, the luggage will follow you wherever you go. For example, you want to grab a coffee while you're in the lounge, so you will not be worried about your luggage because it's there with you wherever you go. So in manufacturing, in other industries like manufacturing, healthcare services, transportations, and even retail, or when you're buying things, especially during the COVID, I believe that every one of us has experienced online buying or online shopping. So all these things are there, and we need to know what is essential for us to be able to be in front of the technologies. So as Steve Jobs have mentioned everybody in this country should learn how to program a computer. Because why? Because it teaches you how to think. So let's see what are the industrial leaders said about the importance of programming.
I was 13 when I first got access to a computer.
My parents bought me a Macintosh in 1984 when I was 8 years old.
I was in 6th grade.
I learned to code in college.
Freshman year, first semester, intro to computer science.
I wrote a program to play tic-tac-toe.
I think it was pretty humble beginnings. I think the first program I wrote asked things like, what's your favorite color? Or how old are you?
I first learned how to make a green circle and a red square appear on the screen.
The first time I actually had something come up and say, hello world, and I made a computer do that. It was just astonishing.
Learning how to program didn't start off as wanting to learn all of computer science or trying to master this discipline or anything like that. It just started off because I wanted to do this one simple thing. I wanted to make something that was fun for myself and my sisters. And I wrote this little program and then basically just add a little bit to it. And then when I needed to learn something new, I looked it up either in a book or on the internet and then added a little bit to it. It's really not unlike kind of playing an instrument or something or playing a sport. It starts out being very intimidating, but you kind of get the hang of it over time.
Okay, so there is a little bit of technical issues regarding the videos. So we're going to rewrite the video again and see how are the industrial leaders said about the importance of coding or programming in our life and moving forward. Because as we know, technology is in our life every day. So now I'm going to bring the video up again.
I was 13 when I first got access to a computer.
My parents bought me a Macintosh in 1984 when I was 8 years old.
I was in 6th grade.
I learned to code in college.
Freshman year, first semester, intro to computer science.
I wrote a program to play tic-tac-toe.
I think it was pretty humble beginnings. I think the first program I wrote asked things like, what's your favorite color? Or how old are you?
I first learned how to make a green circle and a red square appear on the screen.
The first time I actually had something come up and say, hello world, and I made a computer do that. It was just astonishing.
Learning how to program didn't start off as wanting to learn all of computer science or trying to master this discipline or anything like that. It just started off because I wanted to do this one simple thing. I wanted to make something that was fun for myself and my sisters. And I wrote this little program and then basically just add a little bit to it. And then when I needed to learn something new, I looked it up either in a book or on the internet and then added a little bit to it. It's really not unlike kind of playing an instrument or something or playing a sport. It starts out being very intimidating, but you kind of get the hang of it over time.
Coding is something that can be learned, and I know it can be intimidating. A lot of things are intimidating, but what isn't?
A lot of the coding that people do is actually fairly simple. It's more about the process of breaking down problems than sort of coming up with complicated algorithms as people traditionally think about it.
You don't have to be a genius to know how to code. You need to be determined.
Addition, subtraction, that's about it.
You should probably know your multiplication tables.
You don't have to be a genius to code. Do you have to be a genius to read?
Even if you want to become a race car driver or play baseball or build a house, all of these things have been turned upside down by software.
What it is computers are everywhere. You want to work in agriculture? Do you want to work in entertainment? Do you want to work in manufacturing? It's just all over.
Here we are, 2013. We all depend on technology to communicate, to bank, information, and none of us know how to read and write code.
When I was in school, I was in this after-school group called the Whiz Kids. And when people found out, they laughed at me and, all these things. And I'm like, man, I don't care. I think it's cool. And, I'm learning a lot. And some of my friends have jobs.
Our policy is literally to hire as many talented engineers as we can find. The whole limit in the system is just that there just aren't enough people who are trained and have these skills today. To get the very best people, we try to make the office as awesome as possible.
fantastic chef,
Free food,
breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
free laundry,
snacks, even places to play and video games and scooters. There's all these kind of interesting things around the office and places where people can play or relax or go to think or play music or be creative.
Whether you're trying to make a lot of money or whether you just want to change the world, computer programming is an incredibly empowering skill to learn.
I think if someone had told me that software is really about humanity, that it's really about helping people by using computer technology, it would have changed my outlook a lot earlier.
To be able to actually come up with an idea and then see it in your hands and then be able to press a button and have it be in millions of people's hands. I mean, I think we're the first generation in the world that's really ever had that kind of experience.
Just to think that, I mean, you can start something in your college dorm room and you can have a set of people who haven't built a big company before come together and build something that 1 billion people use as part of their daily lives is just crazy to think about, right? It's humbling and it's amazing.
The programmers of tomorrow are the wizards of the future. You know, you're going to look like you have magic powers compared to everybody else.
I think it's amazing. I think it's the closest thing we have to a superpower.
Great coders are today's rock stars. That's it.
So have you heard from all the industry leaders about the importance of coding? So now I bring two of our students to talk about how they learn at MDIS. Let's welcome Alex and Victor to be with us today. Hi, Alex.
Hi.
Welcome. Come take a seat. Good afternoon, and now again we have Alex and Victor with us today. Yeah. Hi, Victor and Alex. Let's start. Could you please introduce yourself to our audience today?
Yeah, sure. So, hi everyone. I am Alekho Datto, and I am from the School of Engineering and Technology. Currently, I am at my final year, pursuing Bachelor of Engineering in Electronics and Electrical by TCIT University.
Hi, I'm Victor. I'm also, like Alex, I'm doing my Electronics and Electrical Engineering degree here. I'm in my final year.
All right. So, would you mind to share before both of you joined MDIS? So what are you, both of you are doing before?
For me, I was in Army. I was an armament tech for 2 years in Army, and prior to that, I was an electronics student with a minor in aerospace electronics in Ngee Poly, actually.
What about you, Alex?
Yeah, so I was actually doing my A-levels. I was doing physics, chemistry and mathematics. So after completing A-levels, I got enrolled in one overseas university where I studied for only 1 semester. Then after that, I took a transfer and joined MDIS.
Okay. So what made you guys choose MDIS as your choice of studies?
Well, first of all, the syllabus is quite nice. Like it's quite modern when it comes to industrial standards, and moreover, the alumni testimonials are quite good. So that's motivated me to join MDIS.
Have you visited MDIS before you joined the program?
Yeah. So basically, the lab infrastructure is what attracted me.
Okay.
So the equipments are quite industrial standard equipments. So yeah, that's one of the few reasons why I joined MDIS.
What about you, Victor?
Yeah, very similar to Alex. I've studied through the syllabus. I've seen a lot of familiar faces because I was in Poly doing the same thing. So I see a lot of familiar faces, and I have visited the campus, and I do like the environment here. And that's one of the driving force for me to choose MDIS.
Regarding your program, among all the engineering programs, why do you choose your current EEE program?
Well, actually, first of all, the reason why I choose the MDIS EEE program especially is because when I saw the syllabus, they actually have few modules which mainly covers on programming. And right now, as we are moving forward to Industrial 5.0, the age of machine learning and AI, I think programming skills are like really important for people to have. So that's one of the reason why I choose electrical and electronics engineering. Moreover, apart from programming, I can also learn some advanced and basic stuffs of electrical and electronics engineering.
All right, interesting. What about you?
As for me, apart from having a lot of familiar faces, as I stated initially, I do find that electrical and electronics engineering to be the foundation of a lot of things. For instance, robotics. For others, maybe our more relatable lifestyle things like automatic doors, things like that. These are all stemming from our electrical and electronic engineering.
Right. So you have been through IT, Poly, and now you are at MDIS. So what are the difference about the learning environment in these institutions?
Oh, okay. Coming from that standpoint, we do gradually, in my opinion, we do gradually start to experience adulthood as we transit from ITE to Poly and to university. So what I mean by that is basically, in many sense, our environment of study, maybe we are more restricted in our syllabus and our content in ITE and Poly. And when it comes to university, we are showed more freedom. We are allowed to explore more. We can explore out of our syllabus to help us with perhaps other projects, but in somehow related to what we are actually learning.
What about you, Alex? Because I remember saying that you're coming from the international background, you have been to one semester in one of the universities. So how do you find it?
First of all, let me tell the reason why I came here. So basically, my family actually came here. Then after that, that's why I took a transfer. And the learning environment between the MDIS and the university which I was talking about is that like the university where I come from, it's actually much more theoretical oriented and much more like textbook. So you are actually not allowed to, or you actually do not get the time to explore out of the textbook. Whereas in MDIS, the lecturers, the supervisors, they actually motivate you to explore out of the textbook. And moreover, the program structure is the main thing, and also the lab infrastructure. So yeah, there are quite a lot of difference. Like the lab infrastructure here are really good. When it comes to like industrial standard equipments, the lecturers and the professors are really nice. Let's say you have a doubt at around 2 a.m. in the morning, you actually can approach them with your doubt and they will actually clear all your doubts.
Okay, so we talk a lot about the learnings, and what about other activities other than your classroom activities? Do you have any clubs that you join or at MDIS?
Yeah, so MDIS has 3 student clubs in the School of Engineering and Technology. One of them is GEARS. So GEARS is mainly engineering and also management oriented. Secondly, we have IES, or the Institution of Singapore Student Chapter of MDIS. So IES MDIS is also mainly engineering oriented. And thirdly, there is called the Developer Student Club, MDIS, which is supported by Google developers. So that club is mainly into IT or development oriented. And one of the clubs which I like to highlight is the Developer Student Club MDIS. So Developer Student Club MDIS, actually like gives you some projects, and through those projects you are actually like you actually learn a lot about a lot of things about, let's say, a programming language, or let's say about teamwork, collaboration, or maybe leadership. So yeah, I think it's highly important, like for any student to join Developer Student Club or Institute of Engineers Singapore or even GEARS, and it's quite a great opportunity which MDIS is giving us, like 3 student chapters in School of Engineering and Technology. So that's a really good thing.
I understand that you are the founder of the
Yeah.
Developer Club. So how you come about the program?
Well, so basically I was exploring in my free time I like to explore on more on technical oriented news. So I just actually was, I think, surfing YouTube. Suddenly I came came to know about the Developer Student Club video. So I clicked on it, and then after that there was a lengthy interview process which is organized by Google developers, and yeah, then after that I was selected as the first leader of Developer Student Club MDIS.
So how you?
As for me, I am pretty similar to Alex because we are coming from the same course and same class. So I'm actually the subcommittee to Alex. He's the founder of the Google's Developer Student Club. And what I like to highlight about all this club is that it actually provides us with a lot of opportunity to study, to learn new stuff, especially when it comes to programming, it comes to web development, in fact, content creation in certain fields. Apart from all these learning opportunities, you actually get rewarded with a cert at the end of the day. So this is very, very good in the sense where you can actually pad your resume, and at the same time you can learn so much. So yeah, I do applaud Alex for bringing the club into MDIS.
So besides of these clubs and studies, we do organize the industrial talks and industrial visits. So how do you feel about these industrial talks and industrial visits?
So these industrial talks and visits actually, in my perspective, I don't just get to see what I'm actually learning on the book. I get to see the physical machine that actually works, that we are supposed to work with. So when you are comparing the book to the actual machine, is night and day, to be honest. You will actually find that it runs differently, and you can even when it comes to the basic specification, it can be different. And especially and when we get the opportunity to enter these industrial visits, you get to walk through their offices, you get to see how the employees and the employers interact, and how the presenters do their pitches. You can actually learn a lot from all this, and it is pretty beneficial to us, especially when we are already in our 3rd year.
How about you, Alex?
Well, so I think the industrial visit and industrial talk are actually quite great, and it's actually quite nice that MDIS is organizing. First of all, as an engineering student, we cannot like really stick into the books like textbook. We can see the picture within, like, let's say a picture of an induction motor within a textbook. But until and unless we really go to the industry and see the machine and like try the machine hands-on, we really cannot like, and there is a lot of like expectation versus reality kind of thing. So while reading the books, there are a lot of expectation, and while you visit the industry, you get like the feeling of, okay, this is the reality. So yeah, and moreover, like the industrial talks which MDIS organizes, because like ultimately all of us will like apply for jobs, or some of us will study, pursue higher education, like let's say go for master. So it's highly important, like basically for the industrial mentors to come in MDIS and give some talk, like what kind of skills they actually need and what kind of trend is there in the industry, because ultimately the main thing about job is like it differs from company to company.
Yep, of course.
So main thing is like while writing a resume, important thing is like know your company first. And I think through these industrial talks, I think like we get a brief idea what's really needed by the company, what kind of skills the company need. So yeah, it's a very great opportunity actually.
As currently both of you are in the final year, you are doing your final year project, which is a core of your final year. So can you tell us more about what are you doing for your final year projects?
Okay, bear with me. For my final year project, I'm actually working on the electromagnetic fields of train stations and the effects of non-ionizing radiation. So to give you a brief explanation of what non-ionizing radiation is, it is basically electromagnetic radiation that is actually not powerful enough per quantum to affect molecules and atoms. What it really means is that it does not pierce through human tissue, so it doesn't go through your skin.
So we are safe.
Not exactly. With prolonged exposure, it can be damaging to our, with high enough intensity and X duration, it can actually be harmful to human skin. So apart from that, I'm actually also trying to pull out all the predominant frequency of which the intensity is at which the intensity is abnormal from all the others and at X duration. So why do I do that? The reason being, apart from health and safety, which is actually honestly not that big of a issue, it is the electromagnetic interference that it may cause with our daily machineries, especially in a train station. You wouldn't want the train to have a miscommunication station to station. So it with using the superpositioning of waves, we can cancel out this predominant frequency that actually cause problems. So that's the gist of it.
What about your project, Alex?
Okay, so my project title is Smart Fire Alarm System. So, okay, for the time being, let us remove the word smart from it and let us consider the fire alarm system. So, what is a fire alarm system is simple. Let's say I have a fire in my home or anywhere else, and if suppose like there is a sensor connected to it, what it does is basically like whenever there is a fire, it just like basically let's say you have a buzzer or some kind of like sound device, so it alerts the nearby users or nearby people. So this system actually works to a certain extent. Let's say I'm a user and let's say I stay in a remote location of let's say Singapore. And let's say within my house, within 5 kilometers of my house, there is no like other houses or maybe no neighbors. And I am currently located, let's say 20 kilometers away from my house. So if suppose my house got a fire, right? So what will happen? Like if suppose like I rely on this old system, the thing which will happen, like I go for work and then I come back home, I cannot even see my home because my home is already burned down. So in order to avoid the problem, what I created is a smart fire alarm system. So how does it work? Is basically whenever there is a fire, the device which is placed within my house, what it does is basically triggers an alarm to a cloud service provider. So here comes cloud computing. So basically the cloud service provider, then what it does, it sends a push notification to my phone, and this push notification, whenever it comes to push notification, that means I have created a mobile application as well. So the user actually can see immediately, like within a few milliseconds, whenever the sensor detects a fire, it automatically sends the cloud service provider sends a push notification to my user phone, and then after that the user can see, oh, there is a fire, then he can actually immediately alert the nearest fire station or the fire rescue operation to happen. And another thing, the reason why I created a mobile application, like, okay, although my device is like almost reliable, but I won't say like it's 100% reliable, I would say 99% reliable. So whatever the 1% case scenario, then 1%, like it could be a false alarm, then what will happen, like instead of panicking the user, what I did is basically the user actually can see the sensors data, like the temperature, or let's say the smoke density or something, or the ppm quantity of the air. So user actually can see like, and then after that they can actually, okay, I have a fire, or let's say like my temperature is, let's say, around 20 degrees Celsius, that means like there is no fire. Moreover, what I added is basically, suppose my sensor data is also faulty, then what will happen? So I added a camera, a small camera, so user actually can see, like if suppose there is a fire, they can actually see, okay, I have a fire in my home, I need to alert the nearest fire station. And moreover, let's say the rescue operation is going on, and when the rescue operation is going down, the fire rescuers, they don't know, or the firefighters, they don't know how many people are stuck inside. So they can actually just download the mobile application and see, like, okay, these are the users which are stuck inside, we have the top priority to rescue this user first. So this is my, like, the rough idea of my project. Then another thing which I am adding is machine learning. So if I add machine learning, how this thing will work, like whenever like there will be a fire, my device will capture those images, and then after that basically the device actually has, let's say, tons and tons of data. So it will compare all those images, and then after that it will say, okay, this image actually matched with this fire, so that means like there is a fire, so you need to immediately alert the user. So if suppose like I add this machine learning thing, then I mean I can actually eliminate the need of the sensor, and I can rely on the camera provided to do the job, and moreover my device will be smaller, so my cost will immediately get into half, or the manufacturing cost. And since my device will be smaller, that means like there is a possibility that my device will be in the Guinness Book of World Record that this is the smallest fire alarm device in the entire world.
Great.
Yeah.
So moving, because you're going to graduate very soon, and hopefully that your project will be a great invention and applied of all your knowledge that you have learned. So what would you do after you graduate from MDIS?
So I am looking mainly into research and development, mainly in electronic side. So yeah, that's my ultimate goal, to work in research and development.
So further develop your systems, yeah?
Yeah.
What about Victor?
So for me, I have a plan A and plan B.
Wow.
Plan A being I will apply to ITE to be a lecturer for either engineering or programming. If that doesn't come to fruition, I'll be an engineer for 5 years, and then I'll revisit plan A.
Okay, that's good. Okay, so we talk about a lot about learning, a lot about your skills and things. What is the one essential skills that you think that is important?
Okay, so let me take a scenario. Let me like go back 20 years earlier. So 20 years earlier, there was this certification on given by Microsoft, like Microsoft Excel, Microsoft PowerPoint, Microsoft Word. So right now and previously that time, like companies specifically, like they mentioned in their job requirement, like, okay, we want a person who knows Microsoft Word, we want a person who knows Microsoft PowerPoint or Excel. Right now, if suppose any job you apply, they actually never specify like we require Microsoft PPT skill, Microsoft Excel skill. They actually know, right? They actually assume like you have the skills. So right now the current scenario is like if you apply in any job, they actually specifically mention like you should have programming knowledge, in either, let's say, any languages like, let's say, Python, JavaScript, or Java, or let's say C++. So 5 years down the line, they will actually not mention what kind of, like, they required programming skills, because they already assume like you have the programming knowledge already. So I think it's really important currently as we progress towards a smart nation, as like AI and machine learning is like taking over us. So what is important is like we actually start to learn programming, and there is no age limit for, let's say, even a young person, like even a 5 years old kid can also learn program, a 70 years old can also learn program. So secondly, what is mainly important, like, okay, I learned a programming skill, I learned a programming language, let's say Python for example. So it's highly important for me to actually do projects, and projects, like, it's not simple. I would say like projects is like not that like simple, let's say, like just printing a hello world on the screen. I am talking about like real life projects, like let's say a community problem. Let's say I do a mobile, I like develop a mobile application which promotes zero hunger. Or let's say like I actually like do some machine learning thing, like let's say like Singapore currently like after the COVID, like the house rent decreases and then suddenly increase, then after that like it varies. So I create a machine learning algorithm from where it can like predict like, okay, within 2022 your house rent could be like this, within 2023 your house rent could be lower. So it is highly important for us to, like, once we learn those programming knowledge, we actually apply those skills for doing some projects. Then why it is important to do projects is basically, let's say like we are all humans, right? And ultimately, like, we are not hard disk, like our brain is not like hard disk, like if you insert, like we will like remember everything. So after, let's say, like if I do not practice, right, like if you do the projects, you are also like practicing the skills. So if I suppose like I do not do projects, maybe after 6 months after I learn the programming thing, once I again look back to Python, I will actually completely forget the thing. So
practice is important.
Yeah, so it is really important for us to like learn all those and do projects.
What's your view?
So I am in agreement with Alex. Yeah, I do find that programming is really essential in future, because for my 4 months of internship, I've actually internship with SME, which is a robotics and coding clinic. So what they have been doing is that they have been teaching robotics. They have also been teaching programming, from simple things like block programming to game development, and to things like augmented reality and drone piloting. So with all these special skills, they are actually children that are learning all this, which is pretty much primary school and below. And I have taught students who are like primary 2 doing Python programming, and it scares me a little bit, and also it shows that Singapore have a pretty bright future when it comes to programming.
Okay, good. So thanks again, Alex and Victor, for sharing with us their learning experience and their views of the essential skills. Okay, now I'm going to show videos of them, their life in MDIS and how it was looked like.
Hi, I'm Victor. I'm doing year 3 in electrical and electronic engineering. So I'm here to talk about the CIM station, which is short for Computer Integrated Manufacturing. This station 1 is the brain of our system, where the user does monitoring and computing of the entire station. So this is where we keep our raw materials. And coming back, we have our first station, which is the robotic arms. It is to sort out the placement of our raw materials. And then coming over to the inspection side, it is to inspect whether the material is good or bad. And then to our production side if the previous blocks should be in production or not, and then if it's not, then it will actually shift to the raw material side, which actually shows if it's defective or not. From what you can see, the smart manufacturing system is one of many common systems we can expect. In summary, with more and more advancement in technology, programming skills play an important role to serve the needs of many industries. Okay, now I'll pass over to Alex, where he'll talk about his smart fire alarm system.
Hi everyone, I'm Aleko and a final year electrical and electronics student in MDIS. So basically this is a smart fire alarm system. This is my final year project. Initially I was scared to take this project, but with the support and mentorship from the MDIS lecturer, the device is really easy to construct. The device consists of 3 sensors. This is a flame sensor, the smoke sensor and the temperature sensor. Moreover, I decided to go out of the box and explore new technologies. And the result is I added a camera. So this camera supports live recording and live streaming, which actually is beneficial to the rescuers to monitor the situation inside. The data gathered by the sensor and the camera recording can also be monitored from a mobile application which I developed from scratch. In the future, with the help of AI and machine learning, I want to program my device in such a way that the device can take intelligent decisions without the need of the sensor. In today's world, having both basic programming skills are important, and device which I constructed and the system which I designed will sound like a science fiction movie if I do not have the necessary programming knowledge.
Okay, we have heard our students and I introduced a lot of these technologies, but let's look at the job opportunities that are available now. It's in the US alone, you can see there are million jobs available now. It's a 5 billion industry opportunities for you to get. And let's see what are the top paying or top programming jobs are currently the industry is looking for. Python, JavaScript, Java and C, these are some of the main programming language that you need to know because it pays well at $119,000 per year of your average salary. So other than programming, artificial intelligence, machine learning and automations are there as well. You can see the increase of 379% in the job applications now available now in the market, as machine learning has increased by 188% and automations, there's 89% increase. So all this, we need a lot of talents, right? So at MDIS, we have a new program, which is the Eng Robotics Technology. This program will prepare you for all the essential jobs, for all the jobs available, which I have just mentioned in programming, in artificial intelligence, in machine learning. So this program will prepare you for this. So why is the program so good? Because we are the only PEI in Singapore that offer this program, which will have in-depth knowledge in robotics as well as the artificial intelligence part, which you can see there are a lot of demands in this area now. And we also have the well-equipped lab for you to do all the hands-on sessions and all in-depth, a part of the in-depth theoretical analytics that you learned. So please, if you are interested, please come forward and contact us. And apart from the program, we have all sorts of like science, Master of Science, cybersecurity, data science, information technologies, mechanical engineering, and hacking as well. So you can explore all these programs in our websites, and you have further information or you need further information, please do not hesitate to contact us through the live chat or through emails. So thank you very much for your time and have a good evening.
All right, before you go, of course, the extended, okay, wait, give me a sec. Basically, the MBA programs for University of Sunderland as well as the Edinburgh Napier University, both these MBAs, remember, we had an offer from 12 to 1 p.m. for 7,500 off the UOS MBA and the ENU MBA. These have been extended until 3:30 p.m. What that means is that for University of Sunderland MBA, once again, the 7,500 rebate will last until 3:30 p.m. And for the Edinburgh Napier University MBA, the 4,500 rebate, that will last until 3:30 p.m. as well. So if you do want to sign up for those programs, do get in touch with us as soon as possible so that you can get these attractive rebates. Do join us, and we'll be right back with the Reimagine MDIS Virtual Fair.